Okay, what's up, guys? My name is TMossBoss, and I wanted to let you guys know about Anchor. Anchor is an app that you can download to record your podcast in the easiest way ever. Like, it doesn't require a whole lot to know. Like, you just pretty much press record and you just start doing your podcast and stuff. I don't know what you plan on doing, but you plan on doing something. That's why you're here. So, yeah, download Anchor, or you could go to their website, anchor.fm, and yeah, you could do it straight from your computer too. So yeah, it's easy. They distribute everything to they distribute your podcast to every streaming services like out there, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere. Okay, and then you can monetize it, so you're making money off of what you love doing. All right, so people, make sure you do it. Make sure you download Anchor, or you go to their website, anchor.fm. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for listening. Peace. Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. It is early. It is 9 in the morning. I'm trying to think. I don't ever think I did an episode this early. I usually do like midday or late at night episodes. I tried doing this episode last night. I don't know, maybe I was just tired. But yeah, I tried multiple times and it didn't work out. But anyways, yeah, final day of recovery. So pretty much this ain't even more so like a final day like of recovery. I don't even know like when I will be fully recovered, but I don't want to talk about this particular situation anymore. Yeah, I could overall just stop like trying to talk about it and then just overall forget about it, but it's something that's kind of just been sitting in my mind and things, so it's just stuff I need to get off my chest, and hopefully that helps, and then it's like out of my system and I've talked about everything, so I'm like, cool, now I can move on now. But anyways, then also this being the season finale of season 26, like I'm kind of tripping off of that too. I'm like, dang, 26 seasons of my podcast, like it's a number that I never really seen myself like reaching, but I did. So yeah, I'm like, cool, shout out to me. But anyways, so final day of recovery. Overall, what am I going to be talking about? What have I been trying to recover from? Well, if you've been watching or listening to the previous episodes, you might have an idea of what I'm talking about. But if not, probably for like 8 years, for some time, maybe even longer. I don't know. I thought it was always like an 8-year mark, but I'm like, it seems like it's been my whole life. I had always been battling some issues with myself, and more so, yeah, battling my own demons. From being alone, from my love life, from YouTube, like it was like a lot of stuff that I was like overall dealing with. But talking to the right people, watching the right motivational videos and stuff, I overall feel like that I'm on a much more better road than what I was before. I feel like I am being more motivated. Like I've had that mindset where I've like, I want to be motivated in things. Like I just want that permanent motivation instead of permanent laziness and all this stuff, and then like moments of motivation and things. But yeah, that's really been consuming my life, not being able. And that's why I'm like, I always think about that, and I'm like, I really don't care what happens. If I get like a lack of sleep and then somehow like me not getting enough sleep, like I end up putting myself in the hospital, I'm like, all right, if that's what it takes, like I don't really care. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I just want things to work out now. Like I'm so sick and tired of just like stuff just not working out. That's like another thing that's like that I've just been really battling. It's just like stuff just doesn't work out for me, and that's what it's like mostly like what I think like that's mostly what it is. But it's that's a very, very sucky feeling where it's like, you get interested into a girl, somehow that doesn't work out. And you think to yourself, like, how does this not work out? Like, how? Like, I don't know, like, what's wrong, but I'm like, how does this not work out? Then with YouTube, and as creative as I am, I'm thinking in my head, like, how is this not working out? Like, how are none of these things working out for me? Like, am I cursed? Am I a bad person? Did I do something and I'm having a like lifetime payment for it? Like, it's just I'm going to forever pay for the wrong that I've done. Like, I have asked for forgiveness. I've done everything that I possibly could to be forgiven, and I don't know what more I can do. So that's why I'm like, maybe it's just time for me to change as a person. Maybe that's the case, but yeah, I'm just so sick and tired of being miserable. Honestly, that's one of the worst feelings ever. Like, how I feel, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I don't know, but maybe some people, just to kind of guess to like for them to understand how I feel. But yeah, I'm like, for the most part, like anybody else though, I'm like, nah, they don't need to deal with that. Especially if they a happy ghost spirit person, yeah, they don't need to be dealing with that. So, but anyways, ever since this whole quarantine situation had happened, I honestly thought, prior before getting into this whole quarantine situation, I thought it was going to be good. Like, I'm like, oh, this is going to be amazing. Like, I'm going to be being able to work on a lot of YouTube videos and all this other extra stuff. Do all these other things I have. Like, I've done like a lot of videos, worked on a lot of voiceover videos, played some video games and made videos off of that. So I did a lot of things with YouTube and stuff. It just doesn't feel like I have. Like, I feel like for the most part, I wasted time. I should have spent more time recording than just sitting around not doing anything and working on videos that I've already recorded. So, yeah, I have been acting a little bit lazy during this quarantine thing. But anyways, but no, in the beginning of it all, to, like, I guess give people a brief summary of what happened. So, overall, I was, like, chilling, happy. I'm like, cool, this quarantine thing is going to work out. It's going to be cool. But my best friend that I happened to be like really into, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie or like try to like front or like try to hide around it. No, I was in love with the girl. Full on in love with the girl. Like, that's something I'm like, I'll tell people straight up if they ask, like, that's how I felt. Like, I'm like, this is somebody, because see, here's the thing. I know how like relationships work. And it's funny because I was watching this TV show called True Life, and I already knew that the guy's situation most likely would have been my situation, maybe like a little different in things, but he was, well, okay, so I guess like, he has this girl that he was best friends with. They started dating, but they broke up, but they still like remained best friends and stuff. That was one thing for sure. And yeah, they remained best friends, but then he got into a relationship with another girl, and that girl didn't want him to have anything to do with his best friend. So they ended up breaking up. Like, we got to the end of the episode, and they said at the end, like, yeah, they ended up breaking up, and then him and his best friend started dating. I don't know about the dating part, like dating the best friend. I mean, I'll get to that and things, but yeah, I already know for a fact, like, me and this girl, we still remain like good friends, but I get in a relationship with another girl. But I'm saying, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my best friend, or me and her are going to go catch something to eat. We're going to go catch a movie, or we're going to play video games. We're going to do something, right? I already know for a fact that that girl, exactly what had happened in the episode, she's going to make me choose between her and my best friend. And I already knew who I was going to choose. It's somewhere, it's like, if you choose the other girl, then it's like, is that really your best friend? Is that really somebody? It's like, this person you and said like you love them as a best friend and all this other stuff. Is that really your best friend? So that's why I'm like, yeah, I overall, I wouldn't have chose the girlfriend over my best friend. I'm like, that's somebody that I love and trust with my life, and if I had a choice to have anybody in my life for the rest of my life, it would have been her. It would have been her. With just it ain't like without hesitation. I'm like, I definitely would have chose her. So I told that girl, I'm like, oh well, sorry. I'm like, I'm not going to stop being friends with her. I'm like, this is somebody I'm like, I've made promises to that I'm like always going to be there and stuff. And I'm always going to help her out with anything that she's doing and stuff. And I have. I remember when she was in school, and that was like, and I could have used the time to record videos and things, but I remember she was like, said she was like slammed with schoolwork. I had no idea what she was doing, but I'm like, I'm still going to offer my support, offer my help, What else? She has like a family business. I said like, you know, when YouTube takes off, and I still got that like embedded in my head, like when YouTube does take off, that I'm going to invest money. So three things I want to do with her family business. I want to invest. I don't know. Like I'm probably, because I what did I say at first? I said it was either going to be $100,000 or it was going to be $1,000,000. I was either it's going to be one of those prices. I want to have like billboards around Seattle promoting her business, and I also want to be able to buy like a spot, like some building, like kind of like a small building, to like make it like an official business and stuff. You know, those are the three things that I want to do, and those are the three things I'm still going to do despite all the stuff that had happened. I'm like, I'm still going to do that. That's something where I'm like, if something were to happen to me today, I would want somebody to know. Like, I'm putting that out there. If something does happen to me, make sure those three things happen. Make sure those three things happen and stuff. They have to happen. So it's like it's my wish before I like passed on and things. But anyways, so yeah, I made promise to the girl. I'm like, I ain't gonna break. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, and I'm like, and I will not send her a message saying like, oh yeah, we gotta stop being friends because of my new relationship. That's something I'm like, I couldn't do that to her. I'm sorry, but nah. So anyways, but before the quarantine thing had happened, she had told me that she had started talking to a guy. And may I remind you, I was like, you know, I like really, really had loved the girl. Like, this is, like I said, somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with. But she told me that, and it broke my heart. I was like, I don't even know. Like, at first I was thinking like, I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. You know, if I do, like, it's definitely going to be very hard for me to like trust people again. It's like, you know, you spend 3 years chasing a person just to be let down like that fast. Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for me to like trust anybody else and stuff. So that's why I'm like, yeah, for women, if you try to start up a conversation with me and you might potentially be interested in me, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to know like right then and there on the spot. Like, it's not gonna be something where I'm like, you know, we playing around, beating around the bush and stuff. Like, I need to know right then and there, you know. So I'm like, yeah, I can't overall put myself through that type of stuff no more. I'm like, nah, it's not gonna work out and stuff, because I'm like, nah, I need to know. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, chase somebody again for 3 more years just to be let down. I'm like, nah, it's like, I need to know if there's like a potential like chance, you know, me being with you and stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, she told me that she started talking to a guy, or she started dating a guy, and overall, I didn't really know how to accept it at first. It was something where I'm like, I don't know how I'm overall gonna like get through this and things. So I remember something like this had happened to me in high school, and when I was in high school, I remember I was like trying my hardest to like get that girl to, you know, overall be with me, but she said no. And that's why it's like more so like where I just think like nothing ever really works out for me and stuff. Like, doesn't, like, if I put love into something, it's like it ain't gonna work out for me and things. So I don't know. I'm like, it's like, yeah, it's that's overall how I feel. I know people try to like tell me different and be like, oh, things is gonna, like, nah, stuff was gonna work out. Stuff would have worked out a long time ago. It's like, yeah, I understand I'm, you know, supposed to struggle in life and things, but I'm like, struggle this much on it, like, you know, freaking being depressed, miserable, and all these other, like, I'm like, a person shouldn't have to experience all of that. Like, I don't know, I guess, like, maybe it'll be, like, a very dope success story in the future for other people, but I'm like, nah, like, a person shouldn't have to deal with all of that. It should get to a point where it's, like, a person's all like, okay, like, now, like, you know, I got something that's, like, I can, like, you know, truly be, like, happy and things. Like, there's something out there that makes me happy, but I'm like, every time when I get into something, then it's just, like, I always have, like, some, like, upset moment with it that just ends up being the like main event of the whole thing. So yeah, I'm like, a person shouldn't have to struggle this much. Like, it should get to a point where it's like a person like struggles a little bit, but at least something good happens out of it all, you know, like something good happens. And I don't know, maybe something good happened now, maybe something good supposed to happen in the future, but I'm like, I'm just sick and tired of this. I'm like, this whole going back and forth thing. I'm like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's going to work. Like, not with her though, but like YouTube, for an example. Like, it's not. I'm like, I'm not like I am not going to give up on YouTube, but yeah, I'm like, nah, it's something has to work out like once in my life, like not just like for a small second, but like no, permanently. Like I'm like, yeah, it's just yeah, it's to overall deal with all of this. I'm like, yeah, it's not cool. But anyway, so yeah, it was like dealing with that in the beginning of the whole quarantine situation. Overall made me like really depressed and sad and stuff because it was, this is somebody I really thought it was going to work out with and things, People told me my whole life, like, oh, you're going to find somebody like special and, good for you one day. And I put all of that into her and then to just overall be told like, nah, it's not going to work out. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, bro. They show this commercial of this girl doing the Dougie, and it is not the Dougie. Like it's some like Colgate toothbrush commercial, and I'm like, that's not the Dougie. I wish they stopped showing that commercial because I'm like, it's like one of those dances where the person they think that they're dancing, but it's like I don't know what that is. But anyways, back to back to the more serious thing of this episode. I ain't got all like off track and things, but anyways, yeah, but I'm like, after that had happened, and it was like more so because this happened like a few weeks ago. So the past few weeks, it had like a rough start and things. Like it was kind of hard for me to do certain things. Like I had overall had lost the motivation to make YouTube videos because I had she was like this girl was like the main like motivation and reason why I was even doing videos in the first place. Like I mean, like I did like prior before like meeting her, like I did start YouTube. But 3 years ago when we like started talking and stuff, it right there, like that's where like it had hit me, like this is who needs to be like my main motivation on like why I'm doing YouTube and stuff. So yeah, for 3 years she was my main motivation with YouTube. So yeah, the hundreds of videos and channels and all the other stuff that I created, that was all for her and stuff. Yeah, and I'm like, and she's like very, very supportive of YouTube. So I'm like, that's why I just even more so thought like something like good is supposed to happen out of all of this. Like, I know it's like more than just gaining a friend and things. Like, I've gained so many friends in my life. Like, I feel like something special is supposed to happen out of all of this. But it overall didn't. I don't know what was supposed to happen. I don't know. Maybe it was like to overall teach me like, about motivation and things. Like, find something that motivates you and then just keep going and things. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't work. Like, I feel like you have to be motivated by something, something or somebody and stuff. And I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe I need to just be motivated, like, instead of being motivated by somebody, be motivated by something. And so, yeah. Overall, I, it's like past few weeks trying to, like, put that in my head, and just, because, I think, I don't know. That's the thing is like that's what I was like mainly been like kind of like another thing that I've been struggling with is like how am I gonna respond to her? How am I gonna like overall like in the future and stuff, like are we still gonna be friends? Because that's something that I'm like it's like not gonna like that past few weeks, that's something that I'm just like not going to forget. Like it's gonna like be kind of hard for me to like overall be like okay, like move on, forget about it. It's like you can't really forget about something like that. So I mean, you can try, but it's just that something like that is always until like something works out. And if it's not with her, then it's like hopefully with somebody else. But I'm like, I think that'd be the only way. It's like if something works out once for my life to where it kind of just does take my mind off of things and I can overall, become a better person and stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping like whatever the future holds for me, it does work out and stuff. Because I'm like I said, I'm sick and tired of being all miserable and things and just waking up same room. Like that's I'm like, man, like when YouTube does take off and I'm able to just really focus on myself and things, like that's an opportunity I'm not gonna let go of. I mean, it's like I'm not letting go of it now, but I'm really not gonna let go of it when the time does come and things. So yeah, yeah, but it's like past few weeks it's been, then also being quarantined and stuff, like being stuck inside the whole time. I'm like, that's also like kind of been a little frustrating. It's like this whole quarantine situation, I thought it was gonna be cool, but it's really just been frustrating. Like I have not enjoyed my time being quarantined. I've had to take walks. Then what else? Like then it was like of course like I lost the like lack of motivation with YouTube. I wasn't really eating and stuff, so I had lost some weight. And yeah, I think I lost like probably like 10 pounds being in this whole quarantine situation. Like I then also being worried about this virus. Like it is a lot of things that's just like overwhelming and then just on my mind, and I'm like trying to shake it, but it just being constantly reminded of it every single day. So yeah, it wasn't, it's this my, at least for me, maybe for other people it's probably been good, but for me at least, I'm like, I would rather have went to work and been miserable at work than to be miserable at my own house. Like at least then, like I don't know, probably it because that was another thing. Like when the whole like heartbreak situation had happened, I didn't really want to be around people. So I didn't like. And I remember when I did go to work, there's like coworkers and people that's like talking to me and things. I didn't even really want to be like talked to. I just kind of wanted to be in my own little corner and stuff and just suffer. Like, you know, the person shouldn't really do that to themselves, but that's what I wanted to do. So anyways, yeah, I remember there's like, I went to work like one day, one week, and there's like, yeah, there's like coworkers. There's like one coworker, he's like constantly trying to talk to me, and I'm like, bro, I just want to be left alone. Like, can I please just have that? Like, I'm trying to avoid, like, and I can't really like walk away because I'm the only cashier there and stuff, and so there are customers coming in and things. I'm like, man, I just wanted like be left alone. Like when I had left to go home, I was like, I remember I went home and I just laid down, and it was like, and it's funny because it was like that same day, like I had because prior, all right, so like touching back up on the heartbreak situation. So that Monday, I had messaged the girl and I just kind of like just spilled my guts on the table and stuff, like let her know how I felt and let her know like, I don't know, this bird, like freaking, I don't know why birds always got to fly by my window. I'm like, I live in an area where there's a lot of houses and stuff, so I'm like, why my window? How come nobody else's window? Like, you guys don't do this to nobody else. You've been doing this to me ever since I lived in this house. But anyways, so that same Monday, I told her how I felt, and then told her I was like, you know, you're somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with because you're somebody I don't want to lose. Like before this whole situation, before the coronavirus, all of this, like all these things that went down, I had this dream where in the dream she had died. And that dream, it seriously, it took me out. Like I've had like so many crazy dreams. I've had dreams that most people would consider nightmares. To me, I was like, it's just another dream. That dream was a nightmare. That's a dream where I'm like, if I could like just like wake up instantly out of the dream, I seriously would. But I remember I woke up and I just like, I was like just so sad. Then it's like, that's what it was like, what was running through my mind. Like, one day I can like, you know, like lose her and stuff. And it's like to have that like run through your mind. I remember I sent her, I was like, I didn't even care if she was like up or not. But I remember I was like, before I got ready for work and did anything, I was like, I made sure I sent her a message and letting her know like how greatly appreciated she is, how much I care about her and all like a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, because I was like, that a dream like that, like I don't know, maybe it's a sign, maybe it means something, but I'm like, that's a dream where I'm like, I've lost friends that was like, I wouldn't say that they were as like, yeah, they wasn't as close as I was, like I wasn't as close with them that I was with her, but I did feel a certain way when I heard that those friends passed away. I feel like if something were to happen to her, it's like the way I felt for the past few weeks, it probably would have been 10 times worse. I know it would have been worse. That's what I'm like, I'm like something like that. I'm like, that's why it's just, I recommend to everybody, the people that you have in your life, appreciate them. Appreciate the fact that they're here today, you know, like talk to them, do everything and all that stuff. And it's funny I mentioned that. It's like, you know, me and the girl, we ain't even really on talking terms anymore because me being in my feelings too much. But yeah, but no, like, just appreciate those around you, you know, whether it's friends, family, like, you know, it's appreciate those around you, appreciate the memories you have with this person. Like, that's the thing, like, you know, something were to happen to her, I'm like, you know, but it's like, you know, I do have memories that I like will hold forever for the rest of my life. But also on the other hand, I'm like, we haven't been friends for that long. So like, that's where I'm like, I think that's what mainly like had hit me was like, I don't even really know this girl that much. Like, I don't really like know that much of her. Like, we haven't really experienced like a lot of time with each other and things. So that's why I'm like, something were to happen to her, and I was like, I didn't like, you know, she's one that like she like is the closest friend in my life. Like, I've known her for like a few years and stuff, but I'm like, it's somebody I'm like, I wish I would have known you my whole life. There's people that I've known my whole life and things, and I'm like, you had thought, it's I don't know why this. I downloaded this like pool game a while ago, and they send me notifications about. Man, I seriously need to just turn off notifications from apps. Like freaking Nike was blowing up my phone, and I'm like, no, there's no Nike stores open. Everything is online now, and I'm like, and I ain't trying to wait like no 5 months to get some Jordans and things because everybody else is ordering them. So yeah, I'm like, man, I'm so sick and tired of all these notifications on my phone. I'm about to just turn all that stuff off. But anyways, yeah, but appreciate those around you. Like that's the moral of the whole thing and stuff. Appreciate them. Don't take them for granted. And yeah, don't let your greed get the best of you and things. I feel like that's what overall happened to me. I allowed my greed to get the best of me, and that's overall why we're not talking today. So yeah, it's most likely gonna take some time before we start talking and things, but yeah, it's like, and I know people will probably ask like, do you still have feelings for her? That's the thing, I don't know. It's like I remember there's like times because it's like I've been trying to like be with her for like 3 years ever since we started becoming friends. Like it's always like been in my mind. I'm like, this is the one, like she's the one and stuff. And yeah, I was like, it's like did everything in my power to like make sure it happened. Like I did things, like I did and said things that's like I didn't think I would do and stuff. Like she overall like had brought a lot out of me and stuff, and I already knew like being in a relationship with her, it probably would have brought out the best out of me and things. Like I probably would have been more motivated. I probably would have like all the like stuff that I wanted to really accomplish in life. Now I feel like that there's just more things in front of me and stuff. Like I don't know, maybe trying to take the easy way out, but I'm like, dang, like trying to be happy is a problem. Like that's what I'm like, man, like that's all that I really want. I just want to be happy. Like that's it. But oh man, like freaking life is difficult some days, but anyways, but yeah, like but I was like do I still have feelings for her? Like that's I don't really know. Like I don't know what the future holds. I will hope that I don't do something like this again. If I do, then I'm like, that's what I'm like, man, just please, like, give me a chance so I can stop asking at least that, because I'm like, dang, like, I don't want this to be like a thing where I just keep continuing doing this and stuff. Like, I feel like that there are going to be women that I do, like, come across in my life that they might be the ones for me, and I don't know that because I'm out here thinking I'm chasing the right person, but it's like in reality I could be chasing the wrong person. That's the thing. Like I don't know what the future holds for me. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I could at least try to be as strong as I possibly can to make sure like something like this doesn't overall happen again, but I don't know what the future holds. I really don't. It's like it's overall it's hard to tell. So, but I'm gonna manage. Like I'm gonna manage and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It's like if I probably would have been asked this question last week, I probably had like, cause I don't know, I had to say I've dealt with like a lot of emotions this past week, mainly like being depressed and then being angry, and that's the thing. I was like, I didn't want to have like no bad blood towards her and stuff. I didn't want to like go my whole life being mad at her over something like that and things. So I was like, no, I don't overall want to be mad at her. And I know most people would be like, oh yeah, I never talk to that girl again. I never do this and that and things. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe it's just like I'm crazy or something. But I'm like, I'm too much of a nice and caring person to just being able to cut people off like that. Like I can't really cut her off. Like, me and her have been very supportive of each other and what we got going on in our lives. So that's why I'm like, I can't really just cut her off like that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it's like I said, like I'm, there's stuff that I've like promised her and things, with business wise, and I'm like, it's like I can't overall. It's like that's the thing. I don't want it to just be like a business friendship. Like I overall still want to be friends with her and stuff, but yeah, I'm like I don't know. Maybe it might be headed down that path and stuff. Like I'm over. Like I told her maybe a few days ago, like, look, if this is the end, because I don't know. I felt like this time around it was much more worse. Because this time, like, I cried, I was angry and felt all these different emotions. So I was mainly saying it for myself, but I'm like, in case if she felt that way too, where it was like she overall, like, didn't know whether she was gonna be friends with me at the end of the day. Because I was like, I had to accept that too. I remember there's like maybe a couple of weeks ago, she had sent me a message saying like, that it's out of respect for this guy that she's dating, it's probably best if we're not like friends and stuff. And so yeah, that really took me out. I was like, but I didn't cry about it. So I felt like that was like, some sort of success in things. Like I didn't cry about it, but I did make myself some food that I ended up throwing away because I couldn't even eat. Like I felt like if I ate, I'd been sick. But anyways, yeah, but she sent me that. So I sent her a message maybe a few days ago, and I'm like, hey, look, if this is like overall, like I pretty much said, like this is the end of us being friends and stuff. Like I appreciate everything you've done for me. Like it is very helpful and stuff. But yeah, I'm like overall, like I can't deal with that stuff no more, man. Like I'm like, and it ain't even her fault. Like this could have been anybody and stuff. But I'm like, this just yeah, I can't overall deal with. I can't like constantly be thinking like about her and all this other stuff. Like it's like you really think something good's gonna happen, but then it doesn't, and then you just sitting there suffering and things, and you just see everybody else around you being happy and stuff, and it's kind of upsetting and things. So that's why I'm like, I'm trying, I'm out here trying and things, but I think that's like another thing where it's like I accepted the fact that if we stop being friends, like I've accepted that, like I've accepted like us not being like not being together. I've accepted a lot of things, and so that's why I'm like more so, and it's like I'm still trying to accept it all. I'm still trying to like that needs to be my permanent mindset. Like not like there might be a chance. Like to me, I gotta overall tell myself there ain't gonna be no chances. There's like no, it's stuff is like it's like if you spend like because my thing is sit down and think about it. And this is like kind of like my motivation to people out there. And it's like, some people would be all like, oh, if you truly love a person, don't give up on them and things. That's why I'm like, look, if you truly love a person, yeah, don't give up on them. Don't give up on them. But to a certain extent, don't give up on them. Don't try to like make a thing happen because sit down and think about it. If I were to get with this girl, but then years later or whenever later we break up, I feel like that would have been more hurtful because it's like I had the chance, like I had that chance. I had that chance to like really prove myself, and it didn't work out. And so overall, at that point, I'm like, I just feel like overall that there ain't nobody out there for me. There probably is somebody out there for me, but I'm like, I just can't really see it right now. But when that time does come, hopefully they feel the same way as me. Like that's why I'm like my motivation to people. They have to feel the same way as you. Don't put like 100% of love into a person and they're only putting in like, and I ain't even gonna really like make it seem like that was the only percentage that she was putting in. I'm pretty sure that she was like putting in like she had love for me, but it wasn't like the love that I had for her. But if you putting in 100% and then that person's putting in like 25%, that's not equal. Like, it's not equal. That ain't good for you. That is like not good for anybody. So it's like don't put all your love into one person. Like overall, it's just see if things is gonna work out, and if it doesn't, then you didn't put all your love in it, so it ain't gonna be as hurtful. But when it's like when you do, then you're gonna be like me, crying in episodes, crying in videos, losing the lack of motivation and stuff. Like overall, just not being able to do a lot of things that you usually do. It's like yeah, it's gonna be hard for you at the end, but at the end of the day, like I had to say, like I feel like that I'm on a much more better road to success. I don't know. I'm gonna try to make this my last time talking about this, so I'm like, but it's like so I'm getting everything out of my system. Overall don't feel like crying and stuff. Like I mean, I truly don't. Like I truly do not feel like crying. But yeah, I'm like, if I do feel myself crying in the future, I'm gonna try to fight back them tears as much as I can, because I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not putting myself through this anymore. Like I've put myself through this like far long enough, so like I'm at the point now. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm like. I always had said that. I remember, I think I even said that the first time around. I'm like, whoever girl I come across, like she needs to make the first move and stuff, cause I'm like, then I feel like then I would know and things, and then it's like then I'm not the one getting hurt. Like I mean, I don't want nobody else to get hurt, but I'm like, dang, like do I have to be the one getting hurt every single time? Like I mean, like I said, I don't want nobody else to get hurt, but dang, like when is it gonna be my time to shine? When am I gonna be able to be all happy and stuff? Like when am I gonna be able to be like, now finally I have something that I wanted in things, but it's like always, never. I'm like, then it's like just sitting here ranting about it all and things. But anyways, I'll talk to y'all later though. Thank you guys for watching. For those that have been supportive and helping me out, messaging me, sending me motivational things, I really do appreciate it. It's kind of hard to like really find, like, I feel like I need to like self motivate myself before I like find the motivation for other things and stuff. So once I do that, I feel like I'll be much more in a better path in life. But I'm like, this like path in life, I'm not, it ain't gonna be like, no, like, oh, take, like, no, I'm freaking, like, my chances will be taken and stuff. I'm not gonna overall, like, cause, like, with YouTube, like, look, I've been dealing with YouTube far long enough, like, something needs to happen. And if I gotta, like, go and be staying up day and night making sure something happens, I will do that. But I'm like, I'm overall sick and tired of this whole miserable feeling like that. That cannot last forever. So I'm hoping today is the last day. I'm hoping after this, it's over with. Like, it's done. You know, like, I can finally, like, focus on myself and things, you know, instead of focus on the negativity in my life. Like, focus on the positivity in my life. Be happy. That's all that I want. That's all that I want. That's all that I ask for and stuff. So, but anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, like, subscribe. Podcast streaming service, follow, subscribe, however it's set up. TMossBoss is the promo code for SeatGeek, knocks $20 off your first purchase. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching and or listening, and peace.